Nothing going back to the Twin Cities. We bring in big night of basketball. Got it all covered here. Don't move. Get the popcorn ready. We'll get into all of it here. Casey Stern, Ryan Hollins, the Godfather, David Griffin, the Grindfather, T.A. Tony Allen. And we're sitting here and we're all marveling, not so much at how good Houston is, because we already knew that. But we're sitting there and, Griff, I'm not a math wizard, but 6 + 9 = 15. 6 shots for Jimmy Butler, 9 shots for Karl-Anthony Towns. If that was how they played the whole season, they would have been the 12 seed. I mean, I don't understand how you do that. How do you explain that to me?
Well, I think it's 15 for those guys combined, plus Gerald Green had 17 himself. It's unbelievable to see a Houston team shoot 37% from the floor and win by 20 points.
Right.
And I think a huge portion of what's gone on the Minnesota side is they're just not able to get Karl to be aggressive enough in a situation when he goes down into the post. He's not demanding the ball deep enough. He's accepting resistance too easily when he does go down against the switch. And then once they go away from him, you'd like to see Jimmy take over the game a little bit. And maybe he's not physically capable of doing that, to a point Tony was making earlier. Maybe you give Jimmy a pass because of the knee injury. But the fact that they've been unable now for 2 games to get Karl to really take advantage of the opportunities that he's given is scary to me.
No, it is. And one thing that he's got to be better at is recognize his matchups. If it's Nene or Capella, take him outside, knock down a jumper, hit a 3, put the ball on the deck. If you got Harden, you get a switch, you got to go head on the rim and post up. They're also not getting stops, which means as a big, I don't get a rim run, I don't get out in transition, I can't get an easy bucket. In all fairness, this is what a 1-8 matchup should look like. This is what we expect out of Golden State, out of Toronto, and also from Houston. So Houston's just doing what they should be doing. And T.A., we've been on both sides of this. That's what it should look like.
Yeah, most definitely. But, you know, you're looking for a guy, your big cat, to be dominant. I mean, they're going small. Let's take advantage of that. Let's run some horns, pick and roll, high-low with Taj and Towns. Just eat them up that way. Find better ways to get them to score opportunities. And you got to want to do it as well. So, what'd you say, 15 shots between the both of them?
Yeah.
Somebody got to get that Gerald Green mentality.
Look, we're down here in Atlanta, so I'll use this, because even though it's a different sport, great longtime pitching coach of the Braves, Leo Mazzoni, once told me the way he knew his pitchers were some guys you had to blow smoke, other guys you had to light fire. And I'm sure it's the same way for you guys as teammates when you sit there and you're looking at talent. Towns doesn't have the mentality necessarily, it doesn't seem like, guys, of Donovan Mitchell, where you may need to, I would think, tell me if I'm wrong, Griff, you may need to tell him he's got the keys to the car. It seems like he's passive. And once Jimmy Butler got back, it seemed like we didn't see the guy who was aggressive, getting 56 points when he knew that he was the man.
Well, this is what's happened to our league. We've got so many great young players that are 21, 22 years of age that we have these incredible expectations of really young kids. Karl-Anthony Towns is naturally not going to be ready to dominate a playoff game. It's his first playoff series. He's a very young player.
Yeah.
This is not something that you can think is incumbent just upon him. It's about putting him in position to do what he does best. And to Leo Mazzoni's point, sometimes you have to blow smoke. Well, sometimes you need to amp him up. Sometimes you need to make him feel invincible so that he does go down there and run through a brick wall, and sometimes you need to dial guys back. And I think where they're really struggling is just trying to find the confidence that it requires to do this on the road is a team that really, for the most part, is sort of split. You've got Taj and Jimmy as the older veterans.
Yes.
And then you've got Wiggs and Karl-Anthony as the young guys. There's not a lot in between for this group right now, so we shouldn't have expected them to be ready for prime time.
If you go back to the Jazz and Thunder game, which we'll break down again later on Game Time, double the fast break points and second chance points for the Jazz, assist to turnover ratio the wrong direction for Oklahoma City. You look here, and I always go to that, 15 assists, 16 turnovers for Minnesota, double the fast break, double the second chance. All the easy buckets, even though they got 37, all the easy buckets seem to go to Houston.
Well, that's called pace. And if you're Minnesota, you're essentially playing uphill all night long. Where I've defended you for 24 seconds of the shot clock, I go down and we rush an early shot. If you see, Chris Paul doesn't have the same legs as he had before, but he ran that team in his second half. They got good shots. He got to the rim. he played good basketball. Teague and Derrick Rose are also responsible for Big Cat not getting the ball, not getting in spots. And sometimes, you know that, Griff, you know that, T.A., a guard instilling confidence. I know moments we'd be on the floor together. You say, big fella, I'm coming to you, go dunk the basketball. Hey, man, you got a mismatch. Hey, man, go handle that. So that's something that happens inside the locker room, man, because we're on the floor. We got to take care of it.
We get a chance to hear from the winning head coach of the Rockets, up 2-0 in the series. Here's Mike D'Antoni.
Chris has kind of a quiet night, doesn't do too well the first game. He has an excellent game this one. What was the experience like watching him exploit the pick-and-roll defense and just tear apart whoever that backup point guard was?
Well, just did what he did. I mean, I didn't have a doubt about Chris. That's, most of our guys, they're going to have bad game. I mean, James didn't have a great game tonight, so what? I mean, it's going to happen, and they'll be snapping back. And when we can get everybody on the good game page, again, we missed a slew of threes, but played great defense, hustled, and that's what you got to do.
Gerald's second quarter, did that just spark everyone?
Yeah, I mean, that kind of opened the dam up a little bit. We were just struggling, and he just, Gerald does that, and he gives us big spark. And then I thought Chris was good the whole game. And, we just, so many guys just played. Nene came in and did a great job. He did defensively. He was really good.
Mike, they were up early, and you guys were able to turn it on in the second quarter. How big was Gerald tonight off the bench? And just you guys, they tried to go tough with you guys, it seemed, early, and you were able to get the three-pointers going and really get into your offense as the game went on.
Well, we didn't play very well the first quarter, obviously. But they're only up 5. It's 23-18. And then sooner or later, we've got too many guys. Somebody's going to catch fire. You hope. If not, you lose that game, you go to the next one. But Gerald did it. He came in. We were struggling, and he hit a couple threes, opened it up. And then once you see the ball go in, and once you get the monkey off your back, all that stuff, then, we played pretty well for about 2.5 quarters. Defensively, played well the whole game. And that's what it takes. And, it's good to see. I mean, it's not like I'm sitting there going, oh, yeah, we're cool. No, I was sweating like you guys. But at the end of the day, I thought defensively, and Gerald and then Chris and guys contributed.
Mike over here. Mark from Fox.
Yeah, I thought
right.
So.
They make us say that.
I did.
So you mentioned in after game one that things happened that had happened in the previous year. The team wouldn't have been equipped to overcome it. James goes 2 for 18 tonight, but you overcome it. The same kind of thing with the weapons that you have.
Without a doubt. And again, offensively, we were just okay. I thought we can play a lot better, but if we can withstand, Chris having a bad game the first one, James on the second one, then things are pretty good.
Coach Max Edison, Houston Defender. Sunday we talked about Karl Anthony Towns and only 8 points, and we knew they were going to try to get him off early. But our rotation between Nene and Capella, and then switching him, just talk about the defense that was played on Karl Anthony. 5 points tonight instead of 8.
Well, great players like that, they do have off now. He's a big focus for us, and we can run multiple guys at him, and we try to run him on the offensive end to tire him out. And then Nene comes in, and he's got a lot of muscle on him, and we're just trying to wear him out as much as we can, knowing that he could explode on Tuesday night, but he's an all-star and he's a great player. But we've had some success so far, but we won't think that's us so much as just having a bad game. Like James is 2 for 18, so not that they do something different, it's just not having a great game.
Going back to that, Jonathan Fagan, Houston Chronicle, going back to that little burst in the second quarter, besides getting rid of the 9-point deficit, taking a little lead, did that let everyone sort of relax and play more naturally?
I think so. And now I'd be very surprised if, again, first couple games, and it's almost a blessing. I was talking to somebody that we struggled the first game, because a lot of times you come out that first game, you win by a lot because you're so ready to roll, and that second game makes it really tough. I thought because we struggled in the first game and they had us, or a lot of the part of it, we came out a little bit more focused, especially defensively, and it weathered the storm until we got our offense rolling. So, you never know when a bad thing is actually a good thing, and if you just do what we do, but hopefully it does. Now, I'll tell you Saturday night whether it helps us or not. We've got to play a little bit better. We can't just keep playing. We've like I said, it was a little bit better today, but we can go up another notch.
Coach Kim Davis, Chalk Talk. Can you talk more just about your defense? It's one of the things that I know you've been focusing on. Does it continue to improve? Is it where you want it to be? I mean, I know it can always get better, but can you talk about just where you are defensively?
Well, Jeff Bizdelic does a great job, first of all, and he keeps them all accountable, and he is, a real stickler for details, and that's half of it. The other half, the players buy in. The other half, the players want to do it. You can't do it without both, and they're doing a great job, and we've got some individually very good defenders. And when you do that, it's kind of contagious, and they all want to win, and we've just preached to them that if you're going to do it, we have to do it on the defensive end, because offensively we're as good as anybody. Can we be good enough defensively? And, we had a goal to get in the top 5, and we got 5 or 6, and we got, at the end of the year we were getting better. I think from All-Star break, like, we're 3rd. And it's just really important, but it's credit to Jeff and the players, and they're doing a heck of a job.
Coach, Davide Chinellato, Gazzetta Italy. Going into Game 3, what is going to be your mindset? Like the first 2 games are just a start, or you just forget about it and start over?
Well, we just told them that, it's first of all, the series doesn't start until somebody loses on home floor. So we did what we're supposed to do. We held serve. Now it's on them. That's one. And then whether you win or lose, we're going to try to stay even keel. And we've always gone all year with the motto of, so what, what's next? And so what, we're up 2-0, so what? Can we win Saturday? And that's going to be our mindset. And we're going to try everything we can to win Saturday.
You played against some desperate teams at the end of the regular season. Does that get you ready for what you're likely to see in Minneapolis on Saturday?
It could. I don't know. It's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. I don't know if they got us ready. We haven't played very well so far. So, but it'll be crazy if they haven't been in the playoffs for a long time. So I expect it to be a very loud crowd, and we've got to do our part and play defense and take the crowd out of it. But we got to be ready for all they got. Whatever they got left, we're going to get it full throttle right when we get on that floor to start the game.
Mike Knapp, News Talk Channel 11. Can you just talk about Trevor Reese, the way he's workmanlike every minute, maybe nothing flashy most times, but he just continues to keep pounding. Like when things weren't going right there in the first half, he just kept going, making plays, finding the hole.
Yeah, he's always playing good defense, and he leaked out got a couple layups, kind of broke him up a little bit, and then he hit a couple threes, which he and a bunch of guys haven't been making. So I was happy for him to see the ball go through the net. But he's really important what we do, and I can play him 34, 35 minutes. He doesn't get tired. There's a lot of good things that he brings to the table.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
There's Mike D'Antoni. He has seen a lot of big nights from a guy who's going to be the MVP in James Harden. We saw one in Game 1 where he scored 44 points. I'll use the old entourage. Would that be something you'd be interested in? If I told you, Griff, that you would get out of James Harden 2 for 18 and 12 points, is that something you'd be interested in?
Well, what it would probably mean is that Jimmy Butler will have sacrificed himself on the defensive end, and it took away from his ability to carry them offensively. But it's a remarkable thing. And Mike D'Antoni, I just love his attitude about the whole thing. Very open about, yeah, it's pretty easy when you got Chris Paul to carry the team when James Harden's out. And I think it's really profound when you see these guys together. Their ability to make other people better is really significant, and Minnesota really doesn't have that guy that's making everyone else better right now. In the case of Jimmy, he's probably not able to carry the load like that offensively, and in everybody else, they're still young guys who haven't figured out how to exert their dominance over a game. In the Houston situation, you got 2 guys playing at the full bandwidth of their capability, and even when they don't, it's not an issue.
Let's go to the other side, hear what Tibbs has to say after the ball.
Tom, if you were told before the game that you'd have James going 2 for 18, would you like your chances?
Well, you would think the way the game started. I liked the first quarter, and then we went straight downhill from there. James still, because of who he is, he still puts a lot of pressure on you, and that's the great value of having a guy like Chris Paul coupled with him. So, Chris was, had an unbelievable game.
Tom, what made it so difficult to find good shots? I mean, it just seemed like, especially starting into the second quarter, you couldn't get Carl involved, couldn't get any of the guys really good
Well,
looks.
the thing is, I thought, we were trying to force feed Carl, and that, like we held on to it too long, and then Carl, had a hard time getting it out. So
why hasn't Towns been able to get going at all in this series?
they're doing a good job on him, and when you're doing the things that they're doing, which is double teaming him, and he has to play with energy. He's got to run the floor. He's got to get it deep. He did that a couple times, and it was good. You got to beat him down the floor. You got to be moving around, offensive rebound, kick out, repost. That's an energy game, and that's what we got to do.
Tom, that's kind of been the message to Carl at various points throughout the season. Is it frustrating that still has to be a message?
No, he's learning, and he'll be. Carl's a very talented player. He'll figure it out.
Tom, Jimmy seemed to be kind of quiet. Is he playing hurt, or what did you see from him?
Well, we didn't play well as a team, and I think the start of the game was very good. The first quarter, the second quarter, we got frustrated, and we allowed that to impact getting back in transition, and you can't do that against this team. So, you have a tough stretch, and they shot 53s. They shot, in the 30s. If they score 100 points, you have to score against these guys too. And so, there's a reason why they won 65 games. And so you have to play well on both sides of the ball.
You're going home down 2-0. What are you going to stress to your players going into Game 3?
Yeah, we got to dig in to study the game, and there's the disappointment of the loss, obviously, but anytime you lose, it's the way you approach the loss, and we have to learn from it, learn and move forward. And now we're going home, and we have to be ready when we go home. So they've been a great home team all year. I thought we played really well in Game 1. We didn't play well tonight, but we got to bounce back.
Tom, what would you see as the biggest difference between Game 1 and tonight, especially, I guess, on the defensive end, where they were able to hit more threes? They still took a lot. But
well, they took 52 threes versus 37, and the percentages, like they still shot 30%, and again, holding them, them getting 102, and we, it was better with Harden, but it wasn't better with Paul. And so, that's a concern. I thought we allowed Gerald Green to get going too. So, and they're a great offensive team, and you have to play well on both sides of the ball. So, we have to dig in, get a look at the film, make our adjustments.
Tom, it's been rare this season where offense has been the issue for your team. I mean, what do you kind of look at to get that thing jump started here?
Yeah, no, we got you got to bring the energy to it. Keep it moving. Attack. The playoffs are different. You're playing the same team over and over, and so I thought we had some good looks in which when we did move the ball well and we got good penetration in the kick out, and sometimes you can make a great play, and as long as it's a great play and you're making the right play and you shoot the ball well and it's an open shot and it's the shot that we're looking to take, and then there's great value in that shot. Like we had plays in which we had great penetration, wide open corner threes, and we missed them. So when we miss them, we can't allow that to impact the effort to get back. Or if there's, if you drive it to the basket and you feel like you were fouled and you don't get a call, you're not going to get a call. It's the playoffs. So just get back. You got to play through things. You got to be mentally tough. You got to be strong. This is a battle of wills. So you got to read situations quickly.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep. Yep.
All right, we get an opportunity now to welcome in Joe Borgia, NBA Senior Vice President, Replay and Referee Operations. Joe, always appreciate this. Let's start Pacers, Cavs, big crash at the basket. Kevin Love, Miles Turner, no foul was called on the play. What did Turner do to avoid getting the whistle on this play?
Casey, while everybody is watching Kevin Love with the ball, the official is actually watching Turner, the defensive player. And what they're looking for is they want to make sure Turner gets directly into Kevin's path. He gets to the spot before Kevin gets there, that he jumps straight up, that he keeps his arms either vertical or if he brings them down, that he doesn't make contact with Kevin. And since Turner got to the spot and jumped straight up and kept his arms straight up, he's legal. So therefore, any contact was initiated by Kevin was marginal, and it was a play-on situation.
Joe, Jazz Thunder, Jay Crowder gets whistled, offensive foul, drive to the hole, Russell Westbrook defending. What did Crowder do to prompt the foul call on this play?
Well, similar to the last play, again, the officials here are looking at the defender. That's what they focus on. So you watch Westbrook, you see him jump up, he makes no body contact. His right arm goes to block the shot, but if you watch Crowder's left arm, Crowder's going to extend his left arm straight out and actually wrap and push away Westbrook's arm that's trying to block the shot. So that makes that an offensive foul, whereas Love did nothing illegal. Crowder actually wiped out the arm, preventing Westbrook from defending the shot. Therefore, offensive foul was the correct call on that play.
Joe, always appreciate it. Have a good rest of the night. Thank you.
Thank you, Casey.
All right, there's Joe Borgia joining us. We go from Joe to breaking rookie records. Donovan Mitchell, a performance you'll want to see coming up.